Okay, so in this video we're going to be looking at analysing data or summarising data. So if we're given a list of numbers, we can actually summarise those numbers as a single number depending on what we're looking for. So let's look at one of the first things that helps us look at the average. So the mean is essentially one of the, it's an average value that is calculated with a particular formula. So we have the sum of all values. So sum means to add. So we add all the values that we are given, divided by the number of values. So the total number of values in that set. So let's have a look at an example. So for example, let's say we have the numbers 1, 5, 2, 7, and 5. So if I want the average of that data set, let's look at my formula. I find the sum of all the numbers I'm given. So I add them all together, what do I get? I get 20. Then I divide that total by how many numbers in the set. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divided by 5, which equals to 4. So make sure when you put that in your calculator, you need to make sure you put brackets, because then your calculator will do the division first because it follows BIMDAS. So brackets, and then you divide it by how many numbers there were 5, and check that you should get 4. Alright, the next one we're going to look at is the mode. So the mode is the most common value. So what is the value that features the most or occurs most frequently? Let's look at a few examples. So we have 1, 2, 9, 7, 2, 3. So looking at those numbers, the one that features the most, it would be 2. So your mode would be 2. Let's look at a few more examples. Let's say we have 4, 6, 6, 3, 1, and 4. We've got a few that feature the most. We've got this one, and then we've got this one here. So we actually write them both down. So we say the mode is 4 and 6, because both of them occur more frequently than the others. Another example that might pop up, you've got 1, 2, 4, 7, and 9. There is no number that features more than any of the other numbers. So our mode, you would say there is no mode. You don't write 0 because 0 is still a numerical value. Alright, let's look at our next one. We have the median. Okay, so the median is the middle value. When the values or when the data is in ascending order, so it must be from lowest to highest. So biggest mistake people make is they just look at the data given to them and they don't order them from lowest to highest. So it's the middle value when the data is in ascending order. Let's look at some examples. So say we have 1, 5, 2, 7, and 5. So first thing I need to put them in ascending order. So it would be 1, 2, 5, 5, 7. Alright, from there, some people have different ways to do this. I partner the numbers up, so I eventually meet in the middle. So the highest and the lowest numbers, pair up, and then the next lowest and the next highest pair up. So I find the one I'm left with in the middle is actually my median. So I usually do a cross and then a circle, so I know who is partnering who essentially with the numbers. Let's look at another example, especially when there are even numbers. So let's go with 6, 5, 4, 9, and let's go with 4. Okay, so, and let's include another 6 in there. So if we were to list them from smallest to largest, do that first. We've got 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, and 9. So let's partner off. These two are partners. So you cross off the lowest and the highest number. Then we circle the next two, and we're left with these two in the middle. So what we do is we actually add the two numbers, and we divide them by 2. So what we're actually doing is we're finding the mean of these numbers. So 11 divided by 2, the number that's smack bang in the middle of that is 5.5. Alright, the last one we're going to look at is the range. So the range is a little bit different from the other three, mean, mode, median, because it actually looks at the spread of the data. So how is the data spread out? So it is the way we find the range is to find the difference. So difference means to subtract between the highest number and the lowest number. So your formula is highest number, subtract your lowest number. And we'll look at a few examples. Okay, so let's say our data is 1, 5, 9, 11, and 10. Your range would be the highest value, which is this one here, subtracting your lowest value, so your range is 10. Now if we look at another set of values, so we know that our range is 10. Let's say our values are 53, 100, 1, 45, and 92. If we look at this data set that we've got here, let's compare it to the one we had before. So if we look at our highest number, we've got 100. And then we take our lowest number. Our range is 99. Look at the comparison with this range and the range we had over here. The data set on this page, 1, 5, 9, 11, and 10, are much closer together as opposed to this data set. So the higher the range, the more spread out the data is.